Hello, welcome to JavaScript tutorials. My name is Dr. Shan Bhatti, and in previous classes we have been talking about JavaScript and document object model for JavaScript. Let's do a few examples of document object model and see how we goes. But if you haven't watched the previous lecture, I highly recommend that go and watch JavaScript lectures 11, I think, and then come back here later on so that you understand what basically we're talking about. Let's begin. So in previous class we talked about JavaScript's document object model. Again, that model or DOM, what we refer to, is simply a model that allows us to understand how we can access the components or tags or elements within an HTML page. So it's just a simple model, simple process, okay, which elaborates few accessibility principles more appropriately. So let's discuss some of the concepts here. Now we talked about document get element by ID, and we specified para ID ID of a particular tag, and then using inner HTML. Now this being properties, this being method, this being object. Similarly, this being the value that we set inside this inner HTML. You can use this in a different manner as well. So for example, I can also let me just do it here. I can write variable my data is equals to, and I can say document dot get element by ID and semicolon, and I can come here and I can say ID para 1, okay, para 1 and semicolon. Now what I've done here is that instead of writing this completely, I just write this in a different order. So we can do that. Again, this is another example of using or accessing the data. So what we said, go inside a document, fetch me an element that is or fetch me a tag, in other words, that has this ID. Now what this my data would contain, it would contain a tag that would be basically holding your HTML. Okay, so this is my HTML paragraph tag, and now this tag would be inside my data, and now I can do whatever I want. So for example, I can say document dot write, and then within this I can say hello, okay, brackets, I can say document dot write, and then we come here in brackets my element, and then plus I can write my data, control S. So if I come into my HTML, you would see that object HTML paragraph element. So you can even print that element component here. So once you read this my get element by ID, you would see that this is what it is returning. It's returning object HTML paragraph element. Okay, so basically your paragraph element is returned as an object. So once you have this object, again when you use dot inner HTML, so I can come back here. In other words, let's do it on a new line. My data dot, now I use dot, and you can see I can access its inner HTML. Okay, this message pops up. Why? Because now this my data is an object which contains your paragraph tag. Okay, we saw it here, HTML paragraph. It's an object which is your HTML paragraph element. So what we did initially was we went into the document, we fetched an element called paragraph, and we stored it inside another variable, and then we printed that variable. Once you print that particular variable, you would see this is what we get, and same thing goes for every single tag. So if you use it for inner head, you will get the same thing. So what it actually means, document is an object, it reads a method. Whatever is the outcome of this method is actually an object itself. That is why once you use another dot, basically in terms of Java, you are actually using the method. Remember we said object of a method of a method. So this is what you do. So once you use another dot, basically that dot is connected with another object and behaves like a method which reads your data, if you understand, if you're coming from Java. Otherwise, basically it's just like a hierarchical connection we are doing. So we have connected with our paragraph. Once we have paragraph, I can go inside this paragraph, inner HTML, and I can change the content. Okay, and I say hello to new object. Let me see if we can run this. Hit a semicolon. Let's hit semicolon here. Sorry, control Z, control S. We come here and there is no output here. Why not? Document dot write, control S, my element plus semicolon, semicolon, everything seems okay, plus my object. Okay, Control S, and now we have hello to new object. Okay, so what we did now is that we said, okay, now in order to print the data on this screen, we said document document.write my data inner HTML, and inside this HTML write hello world object. Okay, so basically we try to access the inner HTML components. Similarly, we can do another example as well. We can get an HTML by its tag name as well. Okay, so now in another example, let's use JavaScript and to change the basic content of your image. Okay, so for example, we have some image placed on our web page. Let's change that based on certain event using JavaScript. Okay, same principle that we have adopted previously. So if I have this same page, simple page available, and if you get the output, if I come here, sorry, where's the output gone? Here it is. Okay, so we have, if I refresh it, I think, in fact, let me just Control S, save it, come back here, same page available. Okay, so all output gone, everything is gone. Now what I want basically to do is, I was planning for a simple game called Hangman. So we've searched a particular image for a hangman, and now we want to that every time user makes a wrong guess, the image is automatically basically being changed. So there's a single placeholder for an image, but the image icon is being changed continuously. Okay, so I downloaded this image and I then cropped this image into all these 7 different parts. Now we want to change this image every time the user makes a wrong guess. Okay, and once he makes a right guess, basically he wins the game, and we can have another image for that as well. Okay, so what we can do is I come back here and I think there's no winning image for a hangman. I was trying to search for that as well. Hangman game win, right? So let's just see if there's a win image for that. There is no win image for hangman game, right? So let's just say game win face, and no, this is not game win face. What's that? Is this some kind of a test? Happy face. Okay, so we get a happy face. So if you win, you get a happy face. For example, there we go. So right click, save image as, and let me just save the same thing in JavaScript, the folder we have been working on. I created a folder called image and at happyface.jpg. remember the names and extension, we will be working with that. So basically idea is that let's just create this web page very quickly. I will not go into the game details, that's another project, but let's just use a simple thing. So we have come here and we just say in fact h2. okay, let's play hangman game, Control S, and then I can obviously set the background and styles and everything for that, but let's not do that. And we have, for example, question, QUS question, GOES goes here, but we don't want to go question for that. Now we create something called form. Now form is where basically user would give his input. In JavaScript or even in HTML, the basic mechanism of giving input is using through forms. Okay, forms basically allow us to control the components and the segments and the data that's being entered. Okay, and then once we have a form, it's essential that once you go to server-side programming, then you will be more easy to handle a form. Okay, so if specifically when we study PHP, we will be creating more forms, and because all the data that user provides in a form is basically then read and sent as a single data, is a single bunch. Okay, so it's more easy and convenient way to use a form, which basically in other words means that you can have multiple input fields within a form. All the data once is sent as a single group and single data values, which is then read very easily by the system. So we use input and then we specify type, and this can be simple text. Okay, the name can be, for example, what did I do? Boom. Okay, just come back here. The name can be txt text ans answer, I guess, and then we close it. Again, there's one thing that we can give is called placeholder. Placeholder is basically a dummy text that appears on your input field, so like a hint, so that people know what we are supposed to enter. Okay, so a placeholder is basically something here, and we can say write name of the right answer here. Okay, ans ANSWER, ANS here, ANSWER, ANSWER, answer here. Okay, and then I guess a question goes here, answer goes here, and this is a simple form. ANSWER, answer is, and then you can write whatever you want within this thing, and then I can have BR tag. BR usually we write here so that we can have a new line input, again another type, and then I can say button. So let me just give a button here, let it be a name. I think we don't even need a name, we just need an on click event on this thing. So whenever you click it, what should happen? Okay, value can be click ANSWER, answer. Okay, so every time we click on the answer, what should happen? So if we come here, answer is, we write an answer here, we click on answer button, and it should read it. If you don't want the button to appear on the next line, just don't use this button here, and now it appears in front of it. Depends on how you want to do that. Anyway, so very quickly, this is a simple form that we created. Now we need a JavaScript for it. So we come inside the script tag. Because we are going to call an event using on click, it's always recommended that you create a function. Okay, function hangman check. Okay, so that's my function name, and usually it's always again a standard to start your function with a small letter, not a compulsory, just a standard that basically this is what we're supposed to do. Now technically this is going to have an input, but I'm not going to take an input from as an argument, but what I will do is I can say answer is equals to, and I go inside document. Now let's use document object model again. In order to use document object model, basically it means that you follow the hierarchy to access the components. So what we do, we use document dot, instead of in a like get element ID, we can use something called forms. Now forms is something we have discussed previously in one of the previous lectures as well. Forms is basically an object, a method, sorry, that refers to your HTML forms. So in order to read the forms, basically this is what we do, we read the forms method. Okay, so in order to read this form, again we need to name it. So I come inside my form, what's happening, not here, I come inside my form and I give it a name. Okay, FRM form hangman. Okay, I guess that's the convenient name. Always remember to name your variables and names and IDs properly, what it based on the purpose. Okay, so that somebody else who is working on the same project can understand what you are talking about or which fields you're talking about. So now following the DOM model, following the hierarchy, what we do is we go inside a document, we access a method called forms. This is a method that now uses an array like behavior that will allow us to fetch the data. This array like behavior means that which form you want to read. Again, within your HTML there can be multiple forms. This is one form, I can have a second form, I can have a third form. In order to read that form, basically we give it a name, and that name is given like an array form. So within array we specified that give me FRM hangman. Okay, so it will go and fetch this hangman form. Then within this hangman form we give another array, because this hangman form contains input elements. Okay, so this is an input, this is an input, so which element of that hangman form you want to access. So in this case we say that kindly access text ANS answer. Okay, so go inside your document, there is an object called forms, so read the forms, but there can be many. So which form do you want me to read? Read a form that has a name called form hangman. So read this particular form only, ignore every other else. Within this form there is another field called, or another element called text answer. So this is behaving like a two-dimensional array or multi-dimensional array, in other words. Form and field within a form that is inside the document. Okay, then inside this basically we say for example dot value, because this is a text field, so it will have something called a value, which will now basically means that read the value of a text field which is inside a hangman form, which is a form tag inside a document. Okay, so again a hierarchy we are following. Read a value of a text field which belongs to a form hangman, which is a form inside a document. Alright, so following a hierarchy, and then save it inside a value. So whatever value we give would be saved inside this variable, and now we can process this variable, do whatever evaluation we want to do that on here. Like I said, I won't be working majorly on the hangman game right now. My major concern is to check the condition and see if it's a true or false, and then let's just go inside the condition. change the image. So again, I'm not going into major conditions. What I can do for now is I just want to change the image. Okay, so let's just, I guess, use it here. So if answer is equals to, for example, let's just say 5. If answer is 5, what we can do then, and else what we can do then. Okay, so if answer is 5, what do we want to do? We want to change the image. We want to appear some image here. So if the answer is wrong, for example, we what should happen? Okay, or in other words, let me use this. If answer is not equal to 5, then what should happen? So we say go inside docun document dot, and this time we want to use again same thing, element by id. Okay, and we want to access the image, but we have not put the image right now. So we can here, and I can say brackets img src is equals to images, and within images let's have a happy face, or let's have a one image. Okay, and then let me give it an id, because we're going to use this to refer to this thing. This is img id, and let me close it, Control S. So if I go into my HTML, this is what we get. So this is my initial hangman result. I can have some text here if I want. I can write a paragraph and hangman result, result, Control S. So we have an hangman result, and we get here. Okay, so now if the answer is not equal to 5, we want to change this hangman image to whatever we want. Obviously, like I said, there's going to be a counter and everything, so I'm not going to apply that. So imd id, I give it id. So there we go. And then because we want to change the image, in previous examples we used inner HTML. Okay, but this time we are not going to access the inner HTML, because we are not going to change the value of a HTML, because there is no value for an image, but we are going to change the attribute of an image. So we just simply need src, change the image source, and the source can be, for example, images images. Go inside this images folder. Okay, and you can have hangman2.png. so what now we basically said that go inside a document, find me an element that has this id, find me this element, and we know this is src image. So dot src, instead of inner HTML we provide another property, this time src. What this will do, that it will change the image. So we are changing the source here, what to another image. Let's see if it works. Control S, we come back here, we give it 3, and it's not working. Okay, yeah, it should work. It's not working. Why not working? Semicolon, is that the problem? No. If answer is not equal to 5, okay, it's not working, right? That's because we have created a function, and the function will not be work until we call it on click. Remember, this thing has driven me crazy previously. Everything is okay, but we have not called the function. So here we write hangman check and function. Okay, so on an input type button, on click, hangman function. So when we click the button to check the answer, this will call this function. Now it will read the value of your text field and change and do condition whatever we want to do. So in this case we write 3, we click OK. See, this image is different. Okay, for example, if we give it let's see if we give it 5. So if we give it 5, nothing happens, right? So what we now do is we say go back again into document dot get element by id, id being imd id. Let's write it in inverted quotations, and okay, so fetch me this id, change its src file to what equals bracket start to something called images images. If you go inside it, there is a file called happyface.jpg. Save. And so now if I come here, if I press 5, we get a happy face. Okay, so this is what we do. If I press 23, we get different image. If I give 2, we get different image. Okay, same hangman image. Now obviously it's supposed to change based on a counter, so every time we make a wrong answer, it should change. So we can have a variable that changes itself. We can keep account of it, and this, as I said, there's different things. So every time we guess wrong, our life becomes minus minus, and then it changes its basic. We check a condition and we can predict. So as I said, the game is not my major purpose, but you can change an emit on it. So whatever your value is, you click on this answer. If it is, for example, 5, I click here, we get a good thing. But if any other number, we get this value here. Okay, so if I come back here, press S, and you can see if I hit a refresh, we get back to default value. Okay, so you can change even the image based on this src tag. So you can src attribute. Okay, you can even do that as well. Now in next session we will try to change the css styles, okay, using JavaScript. Okay, so continuing from the previous topic, let's just very quickly come back to where's my code. We come back here. Let's just change, as I said, we discussed about src content. Let's just change css. So I come inside my script tag, and it's just a very simple concept. So let's just use that again. So for example, we have already created our heading tag, okay, h1, and we had discussed that I can have an id h1 there. So let's just use that and change the css, because I've already specified some of the css for this particular html anyway. Let's use that. So I come here and within my script tag and I specify what we call document dot get element by id. Sorry. Okay, now we want to fetch this heading, so id heading 1. So I will just use the same id head 1. This is my id. Now what we want to do, because we have css here and we want to change the css, all you need to do is you need to come here and write a property called style. Okay, style, because css is a style. Even when we write html, we give an attribute called style. So basically we are changing the attribute, not the css itself. Okay, so we are accessing this style. So we access it by simply typing the style attribute. But because this style now contains an array of various different property values based on css rules, so what we do is we use another dot here, and this time we change the attribute of it. So for example, color, and then that color is equals to, can be for example blue. Blue. What's happening? COLO lower equals inverted quotations, and I write blue here, semicolon. Now what we did, in order to change the css, we used multiple dot attributes, again using the same DOM hierarchy approach. Remember the hierarchy. Hierarchy means go inside an HTML, find a tag that is referred as id head 1. Once you access that tag, there is a property called style or attribute called style. Access that attribute style. Once you access this attribute style, within this style there is another attribute called color. Change that, access that color, in other words. Then equals value. So we are basically setting a value of this color, which is a style belonging to an attribute or a tag inside a document. So again, a hierarchical steps, no matter how you want to understand it. So again, document, read an HTML element, change its style. Inside the style we have color, and the color can be blue, for example. So once I save, I come back here into my HTML, you see the text is blue. We can even put it down inside a button. So for example, I can have this inside a function, function, and function can be change header, bracket start, bracket close, inverted quotations, and then n. Let me just come here, Control S. Okay, and then inside, in fact, let's just create another button here. So if I create a paragraph, and let me create another BR tag here. So let's just get rid of it with it, and then I can create a button on click of this particular button, call this function, and the change header function is used. So change header, this function is called, and the value can be, for example, change header. That's it. And if I go back into my HTML, where's my change header? Oh, okay, sorry. CHN change HEADER header. Control S. So if I come here, change header, once I click on it, it becomes blue. Okay, perfect. So what's happened now is we created a button. We gave it an on-click event. On-click event values change header, and then we give its text here, the content inside the button, close the button. So once we click on this button, it will call this on change event, change header. Inside the change header, we change the CSS style. We can change any style for any document. So for example, document dot get element by ID, and element can be, for example, my paragraph. If I have a paragraph here, ID para 1, so I can come here and I can say inverted quotations ID para 1 dot style dot color is equals to red semicolon. Again, it's inside the button, so if I change it, it goes into red. Now this paragraph doesn't have any style tag associated with it at the moment. So if I come into this paragraph, I have not specified any style. So it's not necessary that you need to specify style to change it later on. If it's no style available, still doesn't matter. What we are doing here is we are setting the property now. So if there is no value set, it will still set the value. So it won't go and check the value. So style property, we can even change anything else we want. So for example, again we can go inside a document dot get an element that starts with, for example, your ID para 1. Inside it, change the style dot, for example, background color. Okay, and that background color can be, for example, hash or gray, gray. Control S. So if I come here, it becomes normal. As soon as I change it, background becomes light gray. So even using CSS JavaScript, you can change any of the CSS by simply going and using the style dot color based on DOM, based on the simple hierarchical structure that document. Inside each document there is a method. Based on this method, we access the properties. Each method may return an object, and then again that object has method. So that object method may return another object which may have another method, and then we set a value. Okay, which basically is what we done here. In a simple term to understand, just follow the hierarchy. Okay, the hierarchy is that we need to change the color attribute or color style of our HTML tag, okay, which is inside our document. Or we can say that we have a document. Inside this document we have an HTML tag. For that HTML tag we need to change the style, and which style? It can be color, it can be background color, it can be text, it can be font, it can be anything that you want to do, and you just change it. You just specify that particular style name, and that is equals to value. You can change it. Okay, so hopefully it explains certain things, and there are many other features that we can do with the DOM and very other objects. We will be talking about them in next lectures anyway. So if you have understood up till now, thank you very much. Leave your comments down below so that I know that you have understood. Even you have not understood, let your feedback and let me know what you haven't understood, and I will try to explain it in a better way. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Shan Reddy signing off.